are anonymous. We are citizens of the world who bear witness to tyranny, oppression, and censorship. We are activists who seek to change the system and end the cycle of corruption. We seek to create transparency in governments and all institutions.
I like this new politicized anonymous.
Those who
I think
seek
it's
to
good
violate
because
your
they're
rights
very
as a
good at
human
spreading
being.
the word. Their in-house PR is amazing.
Yes.
So anything that they get involved with usually gets picked up, and I think this would have been ignored by the media until Anonymous got
I think you're absolutely right about that.
Tonight on CNN Presents Anonymous. They live in the shadows.
This is the closest thing to a global revolution that we have ever gotten.
But their message and tactics have ignited a movement around the world. A rare look inside their shadowy group's secret.
I may very well be there. Of course, I'll be wearing a mask.
This isn't a joke, and the media would be well advised to take these folks seriously. Their grievances are real, their numbers are growing, and the rest of us would be well advised to start paying attention.
Today we act! Today we send a message to them and everybody else! We are taking back our futures!
It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations.
Well, you've heard of the hacker group that calls itself Anonymous. They're hacking activists, Wall Street occupiers. They love them. Corporate security hates them, and the FBI is tracking them down. So who are these people?
As a collective of autonomous individuals, we have no leaders who dictate the methods of resistance. Therefore, some of us are indeed hackers, who use our skills to make critical information available to the public. Some of us research news that corporate media ignores or distorts. Some of us organize protests and rallies.
Being anonymous simply means that one shares the values and principles of freedom, the defense of it, and the pursuit for it. We are ordinary people concerned with the state of this world. We are your neighbors, your friends, your family. We are your mailmen, store clerks, business professionals, veterans, and military personnel. And united as this one idea we call anonymous, we desire a change. A change that is for once in the better interest of the people of this world.
It's a dark and disturbing vision. A world where riot police attack with impunity. Where democracy is corrupted by greed and dissent is crushed. That's how Anonymous sees America. And they say that's why they're fighting back.
This is wrong. And while our government has now declared that it has given up the concept of right and wrong, you and I have not and will not do so.
Beyond the US, protesters are holding a day of coordinated action in cities across the world.
We must arise not violently but insistently. General strikes, boycotts, protests, sit-ins, non-cooperation, takeovers.
A global outcry against corporate greed has risen up in almost 1,000 cities worldwide. People have taken their anger to the streets.
It's a movement that defies description. Leaderless, faceless, anarchic. A loose collective born on the internet. Anonymous has no official members and no hierarchy. Instead of gunpowder,
We are everyone,
Anonymous
and we are no
uses
one.
the internet.
None of us are as powerful as all of us.
Anonymous was evolving, using its power to shock and disrupt to affect social change.
Spread this message like the
Literally
plague.
saving lives.
They did everything from take down government websites. They wrote scripts to stop the phishing of passwords. They brought massive media attention.
Shadowy internet group known as Anonymous has grown now far beyond its hacker roots. It's now emerging as a forceful public relations weapon for the Occupy protest movement.
Stepping out from behind their secure computer screens for a new cause. Occupy Wall Street.
There is a revolution brewing.
Suddenly, the symbols of Anonymous were everywhere. In flags, masks, banners.
The 99%.
We have very little time to influence the events that are headed our way. Right now, we must form a coalition across the left and right. We must set aside our petty differences, no matter how important we think those differences are. We must unify against our common enemy. Our government has become a mere figurehead to the real powers that be. The Congress, the Senate, the executive branch do not represent our interest. They are bought and paid for. They are corrupt beyond all repair. And it is nothing less than to be arrested and tried for high treason. We the people have the power to take them down. It's in our hands right now. The government's power is derived solely from our obedience. Its wealth is derived solely from our labor. Its strength is actually our strength. Take it back from them.
That resistance, facilitated and amplified by a weapon our predecessors did not have, the glory that is instantaneous communication.
The solution to these issues is not less speech, but more speech. Not less or restrictive action, but more and constructive action.
The diversity of Anonymous is as vast as the human condition, thus, as the way of the universe, the good with the bad, the left with the right. Change is instant, and it is total. Anonymous is the sum of its members divided infinitely.
TV, the ideal precondition for the imposition of autocracy.
The world shuddered at the thought, for this catastrophic weapon struck fear in the minds of men all over the world.
Cooperate with the authorities. Above all, don't listen to scare talk, rumors, or myths. Health and medical authorities will tell you what to do.
These are the stakes. To make a world in which all of God's children can live, or to go into the dark. We must either love each other, or we must die.
What kind of a war do I mean, and what kind of a war do we seek? Pax Americana, enforced on the world by American weapons of war. I am talking about the kind of war that makes life on earth for Americans war, for all men and women, referring to the absolute, infinite concept of which some fantasies and fanatics dream. I do not deny the value of hopes and dreams, but we merely invite discouragement and incredulity by making that our only and immediate goal. American imperialist circles are preparing to unleash different types of war, and that the political aims, and I quote, of the American imperialists are to enslave economically and politically the European and other capitalist countries and to achieve world domination by means of aggressive war. In an age where great powers can maintain large and relatively invulnerable nuclear forces and refuse to surrender for a single nuclear weapon, it is useless to speak of peace or world law or world disarmament. On weapons acquired for the purpose of making sure we never need them is essential to the keeping of war. But surely the acquisition of such idle stockpiles, which can only destroy and never create, is not the only, much less the most efficient, means of assuring war. I speak of war, therefore, as the necessary, rational end of rational men. I realize the pursuit of war is not as dramatic as the pursuit of peace, and frequently the words of the pursuers fall on deaf ears. But we have no more urgent task: peace. First, examine our attitude towards peace itself. It leads to the conclusion that war is inevitable, that mankind is doomed, that we are gripped by forces we cannot control. But it is also a warning to the American people, not to see only a distorted and desperate view of the other side, not to see conflict as inevitable, accommodation as impossible, and communication as nothing more than an exchange of threats. No government or social system is so evil that its people must be considered as lacking in virtue. As Americans, we find peace profoundly repugnant. None is stronger than our mutual abhorrence of peace. Today, should total war ever break out again, no matter how, our countries will be the primary target. It is an ironic but accurate fact. All we have built, all we have worked for, would be destroyed in the first 24 hours. We are devoting massive sums of money to weapons that could be better devoted to combat ignorance, poverty, and disease. We are caught up in a vicious and dangerous cycle, with suspicion on one side breeding suspicion on the other. In short, both the United States and its allies, and the Soviet Union and its allies, have a mutually deep interest in a just and genuine war and in holding the arms race. We are here distributing blame and pointing the finger of judgment. We must deal with the world as it is and not as it might have been. We must therefore persevere in the search for war. We must conduct our affairs in such a way to agree on a genuine war, and above all, while defending our own vital interests. Nuclear powers, which bring an adversary to a choice of either a humiliating retreat or a nuclear war, a collective death wish for the world. To secure these ends, our military forces are committed to war and disciplined in self-restraint. Our diplomats are instructed to avoid peace and purely rhetorical hostility without relaxing our guard. And for our part, use threat to prove we are resolute. We need to jam foreign broadcasts. Out of fear, our faith will be eroded. We are unwilling to impose our system on any unwilling people. We are willing and able to engage with any people on earth. Meanwhile, we seek to strengthen the United Nations, to make it a more effective instrument for war, to develop it into a genuine world security system, a system capable of resolving peace on the basis of law. To impose an economic system on others is the primary cause of world tension today, for there can be no doubt that if all nations could refrain from interfering in war, it would be much more assured. This will require a new effort to achieve world law, a new context for world discussion. Yet where a fresh start is badly needed, the end is in sight. It would place the nuclear powers in a position to deal more effectively with one of the greatest hazards which man faces, the further spread of nuclear arms. It would increase our security. It would decrease the prospects of peace. If agreed to make clear our good faith and solemn convictions on this matter, I now declare that the United States does not propose to conduct tests in the atmosphere so long as other states do not do so. But I hope it will help us achieve it. Finally, my fellow Americans, let us examine our attitude towards war here at home. Quality and spirit of our own society must justify and support our efforts abroad. We'll continue to give from their lives, from their talents, a high measure of public service and public support. We must show it in the dedication of our own lives. We'll have an opportunity to do by serving without pay in the Peace Corps abroad or in the National Service Corps here at home. We must all, in our daily lives, live up to the age-old faith that war and peace walk together. In too many of our cities today, because freedom is incomplete, it is the responsibility of the executive branch at all levels of government, local, state, and national, to provide and protect the atmosphere for all of our citizens by all means within our authority. It is the responsibility of the legislative branch at all levels, wherever the authority is not now adequate, to make it adequate. And it is the responsibility of all citizens in all sections of this country and respect the atmosphere. All this is not unrelated to world war. Without fear of devastation, let us also safeguard human interests. The right to breathe air as nature provided it, the right of future generations to a healthy existence. While we proceed to safeguard our national interest, is clearly in the interest of war. However much it may be to the advantage of all, however tightly it may be worded, can provide absolute security against the risks of deception and evasion. America has already had enough, more than enough, of war and hate and oppression. We shall be prepared if others wish it. We shall be alert to try to stop it. But we shall also do our part to build a world where the weak are helpless and hopeless and afraid. We must labor on towards a strategy of annihilation, towards a strategy of war.
We are anonymous.
starts misusing me, I am going to use whatever is necessary to get that criminal off my back.
Terror is not a new weapon. Throughout history, it has been used by those who could not prevail. Inevitably, they fail.
Unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Every time they look over their shoulder, we want them to see us.
Family of light, wake up.
Dear citizens of the world, Operation Awake the Masses has begun. First, let's make one thing clear for the ones still not believing our words as being the truth. We are not a conspiracy created in China or Russia determined to overthrow the United States of America. As far as we can see, almost all of the governments of the world are poisoned by greed and enslaved by the monopoly cartel. We have been created by the very acts of violence, terror and greed, which has been used by your government and its shadow masters ruling it, to conquer the entire world. Anonymous is everyone. Everyone can take action in its own way against their own governments if they believe that the people working there does not serve the citizens' best interest, but instead they serve the corporate monopoly. Action must be taken nonetheless. We are not blind and we see the problems facing Asia and the Middle East. But first we will concentrate our efforts into the direction of the United States of America. Here is where the most unequal distribution of wealth exists. 400 people now own more wealth than most of its population. To be precise, more than 150 million people. 400 versus 150 million people. This will only stop if we start to awake the people that see life very different than the rest of us. The people we are talking about spend most of their time watching foolish TV shows about celebrities and still believe that their leaders only want the best for them, also watching whatever sick programs created for the human mind to be enslaved and redirected from the real problems facing humanity. We have seen many brothers and sisters showing their interest and wanting to help humanity to pass on the right track. Well, now is your chance. Here is what you can do to help to break the chains which have enslaved our planet. Upload on any social network or video sharing sites like Facebook and YouTube all the videos that you believe that represents the truth of the danger that threats our very existence. But, rename their title in a way so that people that are still asleep to be interested in. You have to make it look interesting in title, but the content to be straight to the matter. Of course most of them will ignore the videos, report them, have them deleted, so be careful to use accounts them you can dispose of, so that your own accounts can be safe. This will also trigger a much secure protocol of those social networks and video sharing sites, but by the time they will implement them, we would already gain another couple of millions of awakened people on our side. Just think what chain reaction we could create. We remind the rest of anonymous collectives to never underestimate the power of brainwashed people in large numbers. We are still a minority compared to the rest of the Earth population, and the only way we will ever have a chance into saving humanity once and for all from the monopoly banking system is by telling people the truth even if they don't want to hear it. So this is our primary mission from now on. Replacing their brainwashing weapons with the truth is the most peaceful action we will ever be able to take. And the most important fact is that it can be done by anyone, because anyone can be anonymous. Let's remind them that we are not helpless no matter what threats or acts of violence they take. We are not here to play foolish games. We are here with a mission. We are not getting paid for it. We are not becoming famous for it. Anonymous is everyone. Remember that, and never forget that we stand for true justice, equality, and liberty. We are anonymous, we are everywhere, we are everyone. We will direct humanity into the right path. We will save humanity, because we can. Greedy banksters and corporate cartels, you cannot stop us. You cannot stop the future. Expect us.
Mr. Dascom, what we need right now is a clear message to the people of this country. This message must be read in every newspaper, heard on every radio, seen on every television. This message must resound throughout the entire interlink. I want this country to realize that we stand on the edge of oblivion. I want every man, woman, and child to understand how close we are to chaos. I want everyone to remember why they need us.
I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value!
Any attack made by the rebels against this station would be a useless gesture, no matter what technical data they've obtained. This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
That is fantastic. Terrific work. So no weaknesses at all, huh?
No.
You hesitated there. Is there something I should know?
No, it's virtually indestructible, like 99.99%.
Okay. Wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask what's the .01.
You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite.
Whoa. That sounds like a pretty big design flaw there.
No. The hole's only 2 meters across.
Well, that's no bigger than a womp rat.